Hello.
Hi.
We're back with another installment of the One Pass podcast. I'm your host, Alex.
I'm your co-host, co-pilot, co-whatever you want me to be, Lon.
And we got a returning guest, Jeff.
Hello, it's good to be back. The topics that we have today,
That's the reason we chose you, because
I-
we feel like you have enough knowledge of older stuff, older Vanguard.
Even with warning, I failed to get these people to do the homework on time because I forgot about it myself. I'm like, man, I'm forgetting something. Something's happening this weekend, and I don't know what it is.
Man, it's like we're back in at school. It feels so realistic. We all are not doing our homework.
Exactly. And then I was just like, I don't know what a good topic would be other than the one I already suggested for when Jeff comes back on. I'm like, screw it. When he gets here, he's getting the assignment, and we're going to do it and sit down and just do the homework. So
We'll do it live.
most of these this topic is interesting. It's this one, thankfully, for the Vanguard extraordinaires, but if you play other card games, you can probably relate to this.
we're looking at you, Yu-Gi-Oh.
So the name,
Yes.
the name of this episode is going to be very similar to the topic at hand.
Actually, kind of probably close to word.
Correct. It's just one off. It's the good, the bad, not the ugly, just the disappointing.
The disappointment.
So how this is going to work is we're just going to be talking about, and none of these are in top three of these categories. So let's just describe the categories. Good is for card design that functions super well. It's like made exactly for what it's supposed to do, and it's really good at it. Even bannable to an extent. And the artwork is gorgeous. Like everything's it's like a home run all around.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not perfect 10s, but like it's 8.5 plus, all around just really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The bad category is for really ugly cards. Sometimes you just had to play them. Sometimes they're just like, man, I cannot wait to not play this. It's just one of those things where like it's just every time you saw it, you died a little inside. Thankfully, though, as Vanguard has went on as a card game, it's moved away from this category.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, it just early Vanguard was really susceptible to this.
I'm pretty sure that some of us, including
But-
me, for sure, will definitely have a really good example of what a really bad card is.
But because Vanguard moved away from this design, it opened up this third category very robustly, which is called the disappointing category,
Mm-hmm.
where it could be a mix of both, where you have really gorgeous card artwork. It like is just is very pleasing to the eye,
Mm-hmm.
and it captures like something very unique, and then it's just like this might as well be a vanilla. Like its effect is worse actually than a vanilla. It's just sometimes it's just like it's so bad it just makes the card looks so bad, but the effect just makes it so much worse than it could have been. So you just never touch it, you never play it. And then the opposite's true, where they look as ugly as sin, but you have to play it to play the card game. Because
Looking at you like strangers.
yeah, it's so like I have two specific examples of the disappointing category, just to kind of set what we're expecting. I think the most a classic example of a really good card done bad would be the Blaster Dark Image Ride Rare from VBT02. And it's a good card, and it's needed for the deck, but I don't know if the camera will catch it so far away.
I can bring it closer.
This is the card art in question. The problem is, if you look really closely at his hand holding the sword, it is another left hand. He has two left hands, and that is very unfortunate for what could have been greatness. Like his pinky's coming out like this. But if you notice, this is my left hand. He's holding the sword with this hand. So it's just, and it's just like, it's like, oh my God, what Frankenstein monster is this? And it's just really hard to look at.
For those listening, all we can tell you is just to Google the art
Yes,
of the
it's
cards we're
from
talking about.
VBT02. It's the second V set, and it's the Image Ride Rare. It's just that the anime character who plays a card dressed as the card. and it's signed too. It's just the foiling's gorgeous. Everything's gorgeous about it except that ugly hand, and that just immediately killed it for most people. They're just like, I knew a lot of people who didn't ran it, and then there's some that are just such a fanboy of the archetype of Shadow Paladins that they just ran it anyways, which is like, I feel bad for them. It's not their fault.
In hindsight, I should have put a TV here on the screen for those watching, that you could just put the art up on there as we're talking about it.
Oh yeah.
Hindsight's
Maybe next time we do something like this, we'll have it
360,
ready,
something
but we'll work this time around.
A second example of this disappointing category, and again, these are all subjective to ourselves. If you love these cards and you're diehards for these cards.
Wait, are you telling me that this is your list that you're starting already?
Oh, no. These are my two examples for the disappointing. I still have my top three.
Okay.
Another one, and this one just personally aches me. It's just weird, and this is a more recent card, and this is in Overdress, is Inferno Lover Cuddles, the alternate card. You know the one I'm talking about.
I have to remember. Oh my god!
What?
With a TH.
Let me show the camera.
So they did this series of art cards for Jeff, who is not aware. They did alternate arts for cards, and then in the text, like, this card is referred to as kind of like a secret layer in Magic.
Yes.
Like, see that very continuous ability.
It is very much like a secret layer in Magic.
Oh.
But like, it's inset. It's its own rarity. You have to pull it. There was like one per case.
Lon
If
loves
you're
Lon loves the feet ones.
Ugh, don't get me started. There was a Bulbamain alternate. The card is like this gorgeous, like, sky blue across the entire art, and it's this woman with white hair doing like a kung fu kick. Problem is, she's not wearing shoes, and her foot is like
Right in frame.
60 to 70% the frame.
Oh,
And I'm just like,
okay.
this is for a very specific kind of player. It's not me, unfortunately. Like, it was like, literally, if they just put anything else in front of that foot, like, it just didn't have like toes. And so, like, distinguished toes. Like, it's definitely the artist had a foot fetish.
So they did the opposite as compared to the Blaster Dark.
Yeah,
They
it
put
was
some detail and thought.
They did a
into
little
it.
too much.
They said, "Fuck that hand, but this foot."
And that's been the
This
weird
foot, though.
That's been
This foot.
That's been the weird thing about this cycle. They did it across two sets, and they were kind of back to back. Some of these cards are like super played cards, so that makes their value like go up exponentially. Like what's its name? I always forget his name. You play the bastard. He just got a new version of himself.
Levy dress?
No, in Divines set 2.
Zorga?
They got the what's the name? The Crit Dragon.
Roaming prison dragon.
Roaming Prison Dragon. He got like this.
It got the
wedding-
waifu treatment.
He got the waifu treatment in one of the cards.
Excuse you?
Yes.
They pulled a Megiddo on it.
Oh no.
Yeah, but it looks gorgeous, and
Well.
because of that, it's like easily $100 card because it's just hard to pull. We had someone at our locals pull it, and so because of that, he built Zorga. Not because
That's a
at
good
that point, it's
reason.
like, well, you made the hard part easy
Yeah.
when you just get lucky. I did the same thing with Rotovisor when it got the same treatment. I pulled it at my locals. I'm like, well, I was already going to play Rotovisor in my ride line, and so when I took it the Orphis to regionals, I played it in the ride line because it was just good in the ride line.
Oh, you mean
This card is-
Combine Rusher, not Rotovisor?
Yeah, you're right. Combine Rusher. Sorry, wrong robot. Same vibe. Except this alternate art was gorgeous. But the problem with this card, it's as gorgeous as it is. It's a very specific card. It's a Clean Sweep Dragon, which like no one plays. No one plays the card. It's a bad card.
Well-
it had a very niche window of play.
Yes, it had a
and then
very
it
niche.
Quickly went away because better grade 2s came out, which is tragic. Because I barely touch Dark States right now. And so, but the two decks of mine, neither of them play this, which is Barrow and Fafnir. No, is it
Favrenil.
Favrenil?
No.
Sorry. Fafnir is not the same thing. Sorry, Shadowverse.
It's
Oh,
blending
brain here.
in.
Yeah, it's all blending together. But like those are my two examples of this disappointing. Because we can think of good and bad pretty off the bat, but disappointing is a very gray area of like where your taste end and card function begins.
Yeah.
Of like it's just this train wreck you can't walk away from.
So-
Yeah.
So
I think the way we should do this
I'm gonna say, yeah. How do
is
we gonna start?
is we're gonna have everybody go read the first one off first.
Of each one,
go-
or
go-
just in the one category?
So we're gonna start with good, then bad, then disappointed, and we're gonna go good. your first one, my first one, and then go around.
Till we go through all three.
Yeah, until we go through all
Okay.
three.
Yeah. That works.
That sounds fine. Well, Alex, since you are the host, you can start us off with this good category, and then these are in no particular order. Like at least mine aren't, because
Allegedly.
the goods are kind of like they're all tied in my brain. When it gets like the bad, these might get like increasingly worse as we go. But for the goods, it's like well, they're all tens.
Yes.
Like it's hard to decipher between which one I love the most.
So I'm gonna start mild on my list, and I'll save the good for the best for last. My first one, for art wise and how I think is a good card, is OG Maelstrom. The
OG.
artwork on the OG Maelstrom. I love the art for that. It has this very, like, I want to say close to Japanese style, like artwork where it's like kind of like bold lines and stands out, but kind of like muted colors.
Yeah, it has a good contrast from the artistic perspective and the effect on it,
Yeah,
for whenever it came out.
it was still a good card.
Yeah, I mean it's a solid card all around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah.
I didn't play super early Vanguard.
The OG art from Maelstrom is good.
Be blessed.
I have a copy in my binder. I should have grabbed it, but
Hindsight and all that stuff.
exactly.
Hindsight's a skill set from experience.
Jeff can show you which one if you're trying to figure it out.
Is that it?
Yes, that is it.
Okay.
Like it is beautiful.
I'm just making sure. Yes, it's got
Mhm.
like this glorious anthem behind it. Powerful pose,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like
It
am.
embodies a boss monster.
Mm-hmm.
correct it. If you want to show the camera,
Yes, we'll show the camera for those who can see it.
the quality on TCG Player for the image isn't the best, but
It won't focus that close, but that's fine. There you go.
he's just you could look it up. It's the OG one from Blue Storm Armada. That's the name of the set.
But like I said, this is my first one. It's only going to go up from here. So this is my baseline of like what I feel is like a good card.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna cheat a little.
Uh-oh.
This one's kind of the lesser of the two, but the other two I kind of cheat a little. But like this one's a classic for me. It's a Gravidia Nordlinger. Gorgeous card design.
Oh yeah.
SPs especially. It's got this just cosmic swirl, and it's just like this kind of Scott Ripley meets ballerinas.
Mm-hmm.
Because like this beautiful flowy skirt, and the ride line just matches it like chef's kiss. Like it all embodies the same theme all the way through. But here's the boss monster, and it feels powerful when it hits the board. We won't talk about the Gravidia mask. That art's cool, but Gravidia mask is just a heartache and a headache. Thanks to someone topping with it at a regionals, I was able to find a look at that deck list and be like, there is a way to the promised land. This archetype isn't as abandoned as I thought it was.
So me and other people are going to ask the question: how do you feel about the illustration artwork version of Gravidia?
Oh yes, I think it's cool, but I love the classic more. Like plus all 4 copies of mine are already SP, so like why would I go out of my way for something?
That's
like
fair.
if I had the stamped one, maybe I'd run that as like my start my in the ride line one. But otherwise, I like it. They're all in unison. They all match. It's just a slow trend. Like if I ran the new one, it just feels very different from the rest of the ride line.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's very like it's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great. I think the only thing I don't like about it is like you could tell it's the art's like super close. It's like very like portrait, a full body portrait. Problem is like with all of them, they have the same problem. They're like slightly cropped out of frame.
Yeah.
So like parts of the image is cut off. That's the only reason I don't like those cards that much. Is that they feel like they're cropped images.
They intentionally did it so they can fit the
nation
stamp
symbol and the stamp.
and
Exactly.
yeah.
It's intentional, but it's disappointing, sadly.
I do like something that you brought up with that though, because the cohesion in early ride lines, whenever that came out,
For
all
early
of them,
overdress.
yeah. Like that is something that I really liked, because you have now where some decks run sort of bits and pieces from different cards that aren't meant to be the
Correct.
right
They're
line.
Frankensteining like the best of that nation because like they're like, oh, we don't need specific things to ride on, so we'll just abuse the system. Kind of how Gravidia early on, if it didn't run the original ride line, it's like, oh, I'm running the Orphis grade 1. and then just some kind of whatever grade 2 I want, which would be like Combine Rusher, just like to build up into something just to like abuse a system. Versus when they have a story they tell through the ride line. And let us not forget early overdress where the ride lines were foil all the way through.
Exactly.
We missed that.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff,
Yoshi, if you're listening,
please. Well, Jeff, what is your first one?
So mine is technically only one of my list is classed as a boss monster,
Oh,
which is no problem.
yeah, which I tried to do my best to avoid boss monsters for the most part because so many of them are designed art-wise,
They're
effect-wise.
already going to be that way.
They're going to be that. So I'm going to start with one, and I do not play the new stuff at the moment. I do not have the time. So I'm going to pull some old stuff that people
Whoop, whoop.
will either really enjoy or have Vietnam flashbacks from, one of the two. The one I'm going to start with is going to be the Silverthorn Beast Tamer Dorlane. That was the support grade 3 that came out with the V-Series run for the Silverthorns. The one that for every 2 cards that were Silverthorn that were pulled into the soul at the end of its attack, you drew a card.
oh, I know which one. In a V, yeah.
And the reason why I love the artwork and the effect with that, the effect, it's the advantage engine. When that deck first came out, you had to run it. Like that's just, there's no two ways about it. The effect on that card was just good. The art for that card has a
Had it zoomed in.
sensual nature to it that still feels that showman effect that most Pale Moon players sort of picked up the deck originally to enjoy. And I think that is one of the better examples outside of the obvious, the Lukiers, the Haris, and the boss monsters for it. This is a beautiful support piece.
Yeah, no, I remember when it came out because it came out shortly after Shahara. It was like the next thing for it, and it completely changed the deck. It brought it from like tier 3 to like tier
For
almost 1 to 1.5.
for
Like,
a
it was up in
good
there.
while, Silverthorn was the only deck in V that could actually
You know,
compete.
Because it didn't get restricted at one point.
It did get
'Cause
restricted.
it was just that good. It really brought it up from the ashes because it was just like it's a cute deck, but it just doesn't hit hard enough. This is like, we do that now.
So, what's your next one, Lon?
Well, you got to go back to you.
Round robin, you.
Oh yeah, I did go first, didn't I?
No.
He's
So
not used to that.
I am not used to that. So my second choice, everybody here can agree with this: Chaos Breaker Dragon from the OG.
Oh
Yes.
God.
Here we go. I got an easy cheat.
Go ahead. Because this card has some stories involved with it. And not many good ones outside of the people that were playing.
It's on the sleeve, so it's really easy to see. I happen to have the sleeves because I love the art too. And when you go to regionals and you have your character sleeves, you need to swap them out for Bushiroad Vanguard brand sleeves. Otherwise, you get in trouble. Now I don't, and I have a really cool boss monster on the sleeves that's not related to the deck, but it keeps people guessing.
Oh yeah.
But this is a card that defined the meta for a long time in Vanguard,
Oh,
and on
yes.
top of that, like the artwork is just fucking.
It
gorgeous.
goes so hard. I didn't play Link Joker for the longest time, but I always wanted to. It looked so gorgeous. I felt wrong about playing it because the play style was so abusive and mean and controlling, and it put a sour or taste in a lot of people's mouths. So I didn't want to be that guy. Eventually, I did build the deck. I think I played it once or twice, and then I sold it to Philip because he wanted it, and then it eventually made it into your hands, or vice versa.
No, so what happened, and Alex can attest to that, whenever the original Chaos Breaker deck came out, we had someone at the local meta that was playing it, and then I picked it up and played it for a very long time, to the point that I said, okay, I'm going to put this down because no one's having fun anymore.
And then he picked it back up again whenever they actually Stride gave it support with Zinc, I think it was. And then okay, cool, we see it's getting support, we'll pick it up and try to dust it off and everything like that.
And then Shane got it and took it to the ARG. and played it for a while. He played against 4 mirror matches, if
Yeah.
that tells you how good the card was.
That was the one that's like all Brantgate or Stargate at the time, everywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's because they got one of those triple booster side booster sets that was just like, oh, Stargate, here's some love.
Yeah, here's Messiah, here's Link, Star Vader,
Deleters.
and what was the other one that was in the Deleters? Yeah.
Deep Police
It was a
got a little bit.
wasn't it
Victor.
Victor,
Victor,
yeah.
Nova, yeah.
Yeah. But no, gorgeous card. Honestly, I'm kind of disappointing myself. I didn't remember that card. No, that's what attracts me. I'm like, he's like this giant dragon. And like, I forget he has a tail in the art. It's so like, it's some people's like, it's too busy. But like, you take the text box away, and it's just like, it's so striking. It's an icon. Yeah. My second one for good, and Alex will agree with me. And unfortunately, I couldn't narrow it down because there's so many.
No.
Shaharet Vampire in any form.
Oh yes.
Stride or
Yeah.
grade 3. Because it had 3 grade 3 versions. Because it had the original, the rear guard kind of based one, and then it had its grade 3 retrain at the end of G. And then there's technically the V1. That one looked good too, and it was really good. I played that deck. And then the Stride, that was
God.
Shaharet was gorgeous.
Yeah,
like the
I
red
know you
rose, and it's all stained glass.
I know
It's-
you can't narrow it down, but I can.
Yeah.
And I will say that one steeped in sin Stride, Shaharet, is the best art of all
Yeah,
those.
no, it got on a playmat. But like, I think they all hold. I think if I had to pick the least special one, it was the last one at the end because I felt like he felt more like aggressive, versus the other ones he's very elegant. Like,
I
and
would pick the first one. The one
correct.
without any stained glass or anything. I think
He's
that's
got
the least.
the blood trails, like the glow. It's like this like
Little claws coming out.
the claws that are cut as part of his wings, but then you see like the trails of blood that are floating up behind him. It was very elegant, and it was like his first appearance, and so like it was like this is the new direction for darker regulars, and people were like, I like that. That's cool. I got a new guy from scratch. It's not like a retrain or something new. Getting a Stride, grade 3. It was gorgeous, and honestly, there was too many Shaharets to pick because they all are special to me. They all look great. But yeah,
Didn't you at one point try to play every version of Shaharet to some degree in the deck until you finally got the numbers?
I
Like,
think that
Yeah,
might have been Philip.
No, I tried to, and then I did drop Shaharet for a while because I was trying to play Blade Wings. So like I had to be the focus, and that was a fun deck. Don't get me wrong, love Blade Wing. He could be in one of these categories. He could be in the good, but there's just better now. That was, you asked me, 5-6 years ago. That was the answer. But Shaharet just got better, especially right at the end of G in the last set. Like he had that new grade 3, and it just turned the deck on like super hard.
it really did.
It like I didn't like the grade 3 that much. I liked the older arts better, but it was just so much better functionality. So it was like in that. Honestly, sometimes it slightly dipped into the disappointing category for me. Of like, I'm not the biggest fan of the art. It's the least like amazing of the grade 3s, but it's so much better than the other two that we gotta play it. You're bad for not playing it. If you have that bias, you're wrong. And so and you're wrong. And then it got even weirder because you had to run. What was that grade 3? That was like the blue guy. He's like the blue green guy with a hat that it like turned off stuff.
Oh, Gastiel.
Gastiel, you ran him as the backup grade 3 in the deck. You didn't even run the other Shaharets. You ran the backup grade 3 because it's like you're either on Shaharet or you're ending the game with Gastiel.
Yeah.
Because it went so hard. But yeah, no, Shaharet really up there for my good category.
It's a wonderful card.
All right, Jeff, what you got for yours?
So we're going to go into another support card that is even older than the one that I shared first.
All right.
Fun fact, this was the first ever triple rare that I pulled from a pack.
Oh,
Ooh.
And this will tell you where my preference in Clans and Nations comes from. The OG grade 1 Battle Cupid No Seal.
Ooh.
I remember.
Yeah.
Remember.
So that card was, like I said, my first introduction to a triple rare that I pulled. And it was in a clan that I was really interested in to begin with. And the reason why I put it in the good category is because, Later on, as well as whenever it came out, it was a necessity. It was a mandatory 3 of, because it would allow you to trigger your effects on your opponent's turn, which was not common at all, without actually having to take damage. Because that was the big thing for Angel Feather, was they would have to take damage for any of their boosting effects to trigger, for any of their cycling effects. And I'm going to pull this, put this, go to damage, come back, all that. This one beautiful card with its hues of blues and pinks woven in through it, the purples, beautiful card, was like, I'd rather not get hit by this little dinky attack, so here's a 5k shield. I'm not going to get hit and trigger everything, and now none of your other stuff's
This
going to
doesn't do it justice. This is the only clear image I have of it. I know what he's talking about, because Vanguard, early Vanguard, its triple rares had that. It was like a shattered glass foil, kind of like in Shadowverse now. It had that glass foily effect where it's like particles, and when you have like deep colors like that. If you look it up, the image is low res because of the foiling. But in person, no, they hit so hard. Unfortunately, it's where some of my disappointing category comes from. It was like art's gorgeous, foiling's gorgeous, effect dog poop, dog water.
Dog water.
big time.
Yeah, but no seal grade 1. I mean, that card got expensive until it got the reprint in the collection, the revival collection.
When I pulled that card, it was $90 a pop. And I was in high school, broke, trying to get into this game.
I felt that moment.
Oh, the urge to just flip it to get a deck built, I'm sure was
Oh, God,
strong. They're like,
Back in my
"But I
day,
want to build it."
PGs were $50 a piece. Yeah, they were in quintet walls because you're too poor to afford them.
Yeah, I remember trying to build Eradicators.
I'm sorry, Grand Blue.
Everything in Eradicators was affordable except for the PGs because it was named Eradicator. Why?
All right, I'm going to speed it up a little bit because we're already getting close to like a 30-minute mark.
We're fine.
So my last one is a special one, actually, including the rarity is special. So back in G, we didn't get many trial decks. We got quite a few, but there was one clan that everybody wanted to get a trial deck and never got one. And actually, it never got a trial deck in the conception of Vanguard up until that point. And it's Bermuda Triangle.
Oh,
So the first time we got it was an archetype called Shushu. Or Chuchu, however you want to say it.
CHU.
But I vividly remember that the SP that you could get in the trial deck went so hard on the artwork.
Oh my God.
It was so gorgeous that that artwork alone for that card made me want to pick up the deck.
What card was it?
The boss unit, Shushu, it starts with a T, Tiramu or something, Tiriu or something like that. Her SP is on another level. You just put Shushu, it's CHOU.
Okay.
SP.
CHOU.
And it should be her in like a swimsuit with the angle, with like a fisheye look from above her head. And it looks gorgeous.
Let's touch on the fact that,
And it was actually a really good deck too. It had a freestanding stride Vanguard too.
And this was in G.
Is in G. It's toward the end of G actually.
And was it the grade 3 or the grade 4?
It's the grade 3.
the grade 4. The treatment that they give Bermuda Triangle with some of their alt arts and such, like most of that.
Was that it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, it's not the fisheye lens, but the art is gorgeous. All those blues and purples.
And in person, they had the right
Don't twist it.
saturations. They had everything.
Boy, I told you not to twist it.
I didn't twist it.
Zoomed in still?
Yeah, still
Okay.
there.
But no. Yeah, the Bermuda, God bless.
Yeah.
Like, you get those SPs, like the alternate arts. It's just, it's not fair.
No,
But
it's
It's not fair to people's wallets.
But yeah, when you saw that in person, like the artwork of that
It
was
just pops. No, there's many a Bermuda artwork that just is like, pow, right in your face. You're just like, what will people think of me? But man, I want to really impress the locals.
I really want to impress my look. I don't want to flip and show my dominance with my
So-
my non-existing wallet.
My
oh, God,
this
yeah.
is my last one of the good category, and I did cheat.
Oh.
Yeah, because you can't make a decision on this.
Oh God.
Uh-oh.
It's Ava, and the answer is any.
Any Ava.
Especially if you have them in SP. I don't have the Poison in Paradise like SP, but like that art goes hard. They all do.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I had to narrow it down, it's either the grade 0 or the grade 2 for like alternate reasons here. I'll let you just show them all to the camera.
Okay.
I'm sure people who play current Vanguard know it all from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
But like the starter looks gorgeous because like she's got the potions in the coat. It's framed really well with the colors on the frame. And yes, she's half naked like all the time. So yeah, obviously reason. But at the same time, it's just she's got like to bring it all the way back to Chaos Breaker. It has the black rings and the hair loopies. That's gorgeous. She has like cool little lab coat and a bikini, and she has weirdly enough like a tail because she's the Cyberoid, which is like the Link Joker race.
Unless you're in certain countries where it got censored and they put a
she has
onesie on it.
Not even a onesie. It's like a skin suit, which is arguably worse. Like not in like it looks worse. It's just like you made it more sexual by censoring it. Now she's wearing like a gimp suit.
Yeah.
So it's just like it got weird all of a sudden. But no, I think it's great. I got really fortunate when we pulled it all SP. And in an alternate universe, this would have been in the disappointing category because when she first came out on release, she was unplayable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it was like a turn 4 deck. You had to get stupid lucky. You only had one research card to ever play.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. It was really, really bad. And then it got one promo and it had stopped rolling since then. I got a second promo. It just kept rolling, man. It's just never stopped. I want more Eva support. We don't need it, but I want it.
Yeah, we don't.
You know, the irony about this is they recently revealed in Japan, the Ava manga. They have a manga for her in Japan right now.
Well, that's not fair. We need it.
So
If it's I can't read Japanese, I want it translated.
So anybody that wants to give this man a link to see this manga, you should totally put it in the comments of this video down below.
Oh, thanks. But yeah, I'm a sucker for Ava. I have playmat and sleeves of Ava because it's just a really fun deck to play, and it aesthetically looks pleasing to the eye. So, yeah.
All right, Jeff, what you got?
So last one is Goddess of Investigation Ishtar.
Ooh.
The stride for Genesis with the Revelation effect. The reason why I love the way that these cards, the Genesis in general, is designed is because they follow through on a lot of the traditional aspects for where these inspirations for the characters come from. And if you have the borderless, like the no text box version, you can see all the colors as it stretches all the way down the card. Because with the text box, it blocks off some, it detracts from it.
Don't worry.
But
I looked at the SP. No, that goes hard. The pose is nice. The big old sword, the purple hair, and the digital like little specks of the foiling.
Oh yeah.
Like so when you tilt it back and forth, you got that effect going up and down.
Well,
it's definitely something else.
Don't worry, Jeff. I'm glad that you put Genesis in your upper tiers because I definitely did not put Genesis there, but I did put it on my list.
Oh no.
And that's going to be so funny controversy of Jeff trying to be like, but it was a different time.
You're right. But
Well-
also the effect of that card structured the way that you built the deck. It literally said, stand triggers, don't worry about it. I got you. Just put stuff to make them big, keep advantage, and beat the face.
Yeah.
But that wraps up our good section. So we'll move on to the bad.
I'm hoping no one steals one that I have.
I don't think you're gonna steal any of mine, buddy.
Well, like I said earlier, this category got difficult because some of these is like, I don't know their fucking name. I never played the card. It was that bad. So it's just like, it's one of the things where it's just like, unless you've been like really like it never left your brain. Some of these are from like nations I didn't exactly, clans I didn't exactly play. Because sometimes I just pick clans purely on aesthetic, and it would just like, oh, the whole clan's just good. Like anything that was bad, then no one ever recommended you the cards, so I never had to learn them. So this category was difficult for me to dig through, but I definitely have answers. But yeah, Alex, let's take it away.
All right. So I'm gonna start off with a very new card that hasn't even came out yet.
Oh God, I forgot to do this.
So I'm gonna try to buy some time while Long opens up Discord. But Jeff, it's gonna be funny because I get to read the effect to you of this card because you don't read modern Vanguard cards,
And this is new.
and I want you to I want to explain to you why this card is so fucking bad.
So it's in the leaks.
no.
I'm in the card fight leaks. Do you know
Alright.
where at specifically?
You scroll up. You're gonna look for Failure Grandpa.
What?
The card's name is Failure Grandpa.
Is that the one where he's like slamming the table?
No, it's not.
Oh,
So I'll go ahead and read the effect of this card. And we start with the artwork because the artwork makes me even more mad. It is literally just his face on the art.
Oh, we're doing headshots. Gotcha.
No. No body. Just his head.
this.
Yes.
Okay.
And it is just show Jeff so he can see what I'm talking about. And then people that are listening, you should totally look this card up because you'll see what I mean. And it's just like a manga panel behind him and his head floating in the middle of the artwork.
Oh no, that's a choice. That's a bad choice.
So why is this card so bad outside of this artwork? Well, let's read the card because the whole mechanic of this deck is the danger skill, and the danger skill works off when this card is bound. I'll show this for the. Okay, let me switch back over. There's the artwork for people watching of this card.
It's something else. I mean, if you like a good joke, then yes, this is an art for you.
So the ability of this card is when this. Let me switch the camera so Jeff can we can get a reaction to Jeff's face when I read this. So its mechanic is dangerous, which means when the card of dangerous ability is bound, it gets an ability to the unit. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the first effect is when it's unit placed on your rearguard other than the battle phase, you can counterblast one, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose it to one Korokoro because it's a Korokoro collab. Card from among them, call it to rearguard shuffle your deck. If your Vanguard has Grandpa Danger, you can add it to your hand instead. That's fine. It's when it attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, you can soul blast one, give it 10k. Okay.
Okay.
Danger skill. So this is the one you care about because when you bind it, it gives a skill to the Vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
When this card is bound from your deck by the ability of your Vanguard with Grandpa in its card name, nothing happens. And then it literally has in parentheses, I'm serious. That's what it says. Literally, it does nothing. And they put an ability to say that it does nothing.
We're not kidding. It does nothing. It's like, oh man, this is purely a joke set. But honestly, I think it's so bad it's good. You got to respect the play of like, that's kind of funny. That's really funny. Like, it's a good joke. It's like when people in like Commander build like an archetype based on a joke. Like I have a friend who wants to build a banding deck with like one of those test cards.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to mention. Its ability says you have to bind a card that's not already in your bind zone. So when you look at the top 5 off of the skill to bind a card, and that's your only target,
Guess what? And yes, you have to play it because you need variety.
yes. Because one of them requires 5 of them in your bind to do its own ability.
Oh man, that's rough.
Bushi literally said.
To be fair, this is based off a manga, right?
It's based on the Korokoro manga characters. So this one is a character in the Korokoro manga.
It's a weird gray because technically the art isn't Vanguard's, but the effect is totally Vanguard's.
Yes.
So not only it's like you can let the art part go away because like it's like, oh yeah, have you read the manga? It all looks bad. Like but that's the purpose. It's like people like Shin-chan looks terrible. The drawing's terrible. I'm like, well, no crap. No one likes Ed and Eddie because its art is gorgeous. Like it's got a aesthetic that it goes for.
Mm-hmm.
Shin-chan's the same way, and the Korokoro is obviously the same way. It's got this very cheesy, in your face, very over the top look. But I think it's charming because but this effect, man, is unforgivable.
And the name of it too is Failure Grandpa.
Failure Grandpa.
Even when you read the name, you're like, it is a failure.
I don't know. I'm kind of getting turned around on this. Of it's so bad it's good. Like, I don't know. It's
just
so
bad.
funny.
Like it's funny, and
It's not disappointing because you know what it's gonna do. But I guess that just strictly makes it bad. Then.
I mean, that makes it to where you're like, oh, this card is garbage.
But that's the point. Like if it was meant to be good and is bad, then it wouldn't be in this category. This category is meant to be just bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess it's my turn.
Yes.
My 3 are not in a particular order, but I'm saving the best one for last in this category. This one's weird. Some might not classify it as bad. I classify it as bad because the art is just not intriguing to me. It's very different from the rest of the archetype. And if you know what I mean by archetype, that means you played Legions. Early Vanguard had this really weird habit of, if it's a very specific archetype, you have to counterblast the kinds in the archetype to activate effects.
Yes.
I'm talking about brawlers.
Oh no.
So this one's like, the art's, for some people, like, it's not bad. Me personally, it feels like it doesn't fit to anything else in the archetype.
Okay.
And that is Brawler Green Gem Carbuncle.
Oh no.
It's like,
Yeah.
objectively, it's like, it's not bad art, but to the rest of the archetype, it just doesn't belong.
It is a
And it's the only one it's the only heal. It's the only heal in Brawler. You have to run it. Because if you run a better looking heal and you need a counterblast and it's the only face up in your damage, guess what you ain't doing? You ain't doing Brawler stuff.
For those of you who have never played OG Vanguard, this is part of Narukami, and Brawlers were all basically giant thunder dragons that basically boxed people. And you're going to have a cute,
punch
fluffy animal.
Your front row all the time.
As you know.
They had like Street Fighter looking characters where they're like wearing half jackets and they got like boxing gloves on or like MMA gloves and they got like lightning and like brass knuckles and stuff. It's like so cool and like edgy. And then there's this weird guy that's a stuffed animal with lightning. And it's like he's got the thunder, but he ain't got the pain. Like he bringing half of this to the game.
It's just like
And I
choose
didn't mean to
you.
rhyme. He's like a Pikachu knockoff. Yeah, that's a good point. I choose you, really bad Pikachu. All right, that was my softball, by the way. Jeff, you take it away.
So my soft is just a bad card in general because this card has never seen play in Angel Feather.
Oh, an angel feather.
And this was back whenever they only had a handful of cards, and they went out of their way to avoid this one. And it's Iron Heart Mastema, M-A-S-T.
Tema.
Uh-huh.
Breaker of Limits. Oh my
Oh, that's the first.
God. I remember this.
That's literally the
Yeah.
first angel feather set too.
Oh, that is atrocious. Keep talking.
So the effect
Oh
on
my
this,
god!
No, but you know what this looks like? This looks like it's you get this at the Scholastic Book Fair, How to Draw Manga.
oh god, yeah, no, 100%.
Like some edgy middle schooler drew this. That is exactly what this looks like.
What's bad is
My feelings. Oh my
the artist that did that card has drawn some of the prettiest cards as well. They have multiple cards in.
This was just
So
this was their
definitely a pendulum swing.
This was their first.
no, this was their entry in, and then they grew.
Oh
They
yeah.
had to pay their dues.
And the effect is if your opponent has more damage than an Angel Feather player. Let that set in.
When this unit attacks, if the number of cards in your damage zone is more than or equal to your opponent's, this unit gets. You want to guess how much power it gets until end of battle?
How much?
No, just guess.
1,000.
Oh, you're about 3 off.
3 off.
3,000 until end of battle to take it. If you're just, I guess, ahead. That's it.
This is the card that you
and
would
it's an
play.
8K grade 2.
And you know, you never. Hey, so remember at the card shop when Hunter was talking about playing Limit Break Era, and he didn't want to play Limit Break Era again because it gave him bad habits of taking himself to 4 damage. Now you see why, because they made cards like that to incentivize you to take as much damage as possible.
And then it's like, oh, I'm not there yet. You have more damage. I get power buff. I'm tied with your grade 3 Vanguard. Like, I get it. Like, I guess back in the day it was cool, but like, all right, 5K shield.
Again, I will reiterate, no one played this card ever.
The art is,
If you saw this card in the person's deck, you beat them quickly to get it over with.
It's a mercy. It's a mercy killing at this
It
point.
is.
I'll do it. He's part of my clan, Dad. Put him down.
That's so bad.
All right, cool. So my second one is a card from, I think this is set 2 of Vanguard. Period.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
It is Prowling Dragon Stricken. It is a card that has a mechanic that is never really used much in Vanguard called Restraint.
It's so derpy.
Yes, it
This
is.
looks like a bad Pokemon.
It looks like a red Barney.
So its ability is Restraint, means it cannot attack on Vanguard. So it can only attack on the rear guard. And then it has an ability when you ride on top of it, so that means it has to be your Vanguard. It gives your Vanguard a crit and 5k power.
This is break ride before break ride.
But that means that you can't attack with your Vanguard on grade 2 because it has restraint, which means you passed a drive check turn and just skipped your turn in order to gain a crit.
To be fair, while on Vanguard, when this unit is attacked, if there are no boosting units, this gets plus 5k until end of that battle. So if they don't commit another card to the board, you can't hit it because it becomes a 15k. So it's a trigger to
But
pass.
you're still wasting your turn.
I know you're losing a card for them to spend another card, and then they still hit you.
Yes.
Yeah, that is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, is 5k to crit really? I mean, you got to ask the Overlord players.
No.
No. They
I
never
no.
ran this.
No,
Never.
I was just about to say, don't they have a jump ride anyways? They got to skip this.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't have to. So maybe, I guess it never, that does make this card worse. It's because, like, we never had to consider this option.
Yes.
We just skipped around it. Oh, yeah. Let me show the camera.
Yeah.
That's just, it's very derpy.
There
The
was-
art isn't the worst, but that effect is garbage. I said it's not the worst.
It is lacking any texture. It is
Well, yeah, because it's a low rarity.
shaded.
What's a
And
low
see, the
rarity,
funniest
that's
part
why.
about restraint was back in the day, restraint cards had ways of getting rid of restraint. Like, what was it?
Some
Brutal
have-
Jack had a
Yeah.
counterblast to get rid of restraint.
Yeah, it literally just go and get rid.
But this literally has no way of getting rid of it.
That
You have
one
to work around it.
and the ghost ship. Those were the only two that I ever actually saw play.
Yeah.
If I
Because
remember
it was
correctly.
worth the effort.
Yeah, it was. That
Is
isn't.
not.
No. Mm-mm.
Because it's on Vanguard. Like, if it had like a rear guard restraint and it was like worthy of what would happen next,
Mhm.
yeah. No, not this one.
No.
Not this one by a lot.
So, Lon, what's your second one?
Well, mine's not as bad as that. I'm wishing I went before you.
Don't worry.
might say
Hey,
it's
hey,
worse.
don't worry. My third one is worse.
Mine's arguably the worst, my last one, but this one's up there. Everyone will remember this Nova Grappler, Mr. Invincible.
Yes.
This art is so bad it's charming, and its effect is awful. Vanguard, at the beginning of your main phase, Soul Charge 1? Choose a card from your damage zone and turn it face up, which helps with this ability.
So it's still charge, counter charge.
Yeah, it's Vanguard, Rearguard, Soul Blast. Is that 8?
Yeah, Soul Blast
Soul
8.
Blast 8,
Counter
Counter
Blast
Blast
5.
5. When this unit attack hits, has to hit.
It is on Vanguard or rear guard.
It is, but you may pay the cost if you do stand all of your units. It restands the board with an on hit. He is a 10k grade 3. Here's this so bad it's disappointing. I don't know. It's not disappointing. It's just bad. It's a lot of resources. To be fair, it's only if you hit do you have to pay the cost. But man, Soul Blast 8, you have to have been doing this forever.
So look at the set that came out in though.
Well,
It should be at the bottom of the card.
the problem is that image is so
I think it
low
came
res.
out in the same set that the card I just talked about came in set too.
And for anyone that is old enough to remember what the actual like name of that ability cost is, it's Mega Blast.
Yeah, Mega Blast.
It hurt so bad because that was the worst Mega Blast.
So
'Cause hindsight, back in the day, you didn't have that great of countercharging unless you
No.
played certain decks. So this card was literally like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm probably not doing anything
Oh.
else.
Yeah.
it's a rare from set 1.
Oh, set one.
Set
There you go.
one.
BTO1, Descent of the King of Knights. Oh, yeah. That's definitely an old. Yeah, but Mega Blast of Counter Blast 5.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, restanding your whole board's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Also, it soul charges a counter charge. So it helps you set up for Counter Blast 5, but you got to wait several turns.
Or do nothing while you get there and beat.
Oh no, it's
beat
at the
up.
beginning of your main phase, so it has to have been out there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you ride into it, well, no, yeah, the counter charge only works if it's on your Vanguard. It
Yeah.
doesn't even work on your guard, so
Yeah.
it's not that terrible. But
I'm gonna take a turn off to do nothing.
I'm just a vanilla 10k. Remember, 10k. He's not even like 11, which is usually the standard.
I will say, granted, back in the day, before what was it? limit break,
Mm-hmm.
10K Vanguards were a standard.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't the power wasn't the biggest problem, but it did get power crept over by 11 and
Well,
13Ks down the road.
Yeah, I mean, being in set 1 will do that. But
Mhm.
yeah, Mr. Invincible, he was a household joke in our early game circles of like, hey, check out this meme. Don't let it hit, dog. I'm going to get you. It's like, man, I just deserve to lose if this goes off.
I think that was a house rule. If you got hit by Mr. Invincible, you lost the game.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you would. If they restood their Vanguard, they're getting drive checks again.
Yeah.
So mine is a newer card.
Oh,
It's not new, but it's newer for whenever I played. Magician of Quantum Mechanics.
oh yeah, you showed me this.
Mechanics? Yes, mechanics. I can't read.
Quantum mechanics.
So it's a Pale Moon card that says you are going to now retire 2 of your rested rear guards to soul charge 2 and draw a card. Anyone who's played Pale Moon long enough knows that you do not want to get rid of a lot of the units that you put effort into getting onto the board because you want to put those back in the soul and then get them back later. This says lose 2 for 1. That could be a trigger that you draw, and those 2 that you soul charge could also be triggers. It is literally a lose 2 and then spin the wheel on 3 other resources. And when this card was introduced and everything, that was not acceptable.
Yeah, it's V set 4. You didn't really have options back then. Because we're spoiled now where every set in Vanguard supports all the nations.
Yep.
And then sometimes Lyrical. That's like every third set supports
Yeah.
Lyrical. But now we get like Lyrical every other set. It's weird. But
Back
yeah,
in
no,
the
back in the
day,
day, like there was like what, 5 clans per box?
No, like you got a clan and it got support maybe once a year if you're lucky, twice a year.
Well, I mean, like even a booster box, because there's like how many clans?
There was like 5 to 6 depending.
Well, no, just like clans, period.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like
there's
but back in V,
Yeah, there was like no, not even in V, but like in just Vanguard in general. How many? Yeah, like because by V is just a reskin of everything.
Yeah.
So there's like what? Wasn't there like 26 clans?
there was, and that's why I said like maybe
Every
a clan
clan
got
al-
a support once a year because he had to support all. Their plan was to support every clan at least once per year. So if you got support at this point, you're looking at it, you're like, oh,
This
I'm
is all I
probably
have.
not. I'm probably not getting anything till next year. This is it.
Yeah, like this is because like every set had like what 4 to 5 clans per box.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're like a good little gold paladin of some kind,
Yeah,
royal gold
or royal
shadow,
paladin.
they always get like 2 to 3 per year
Mm.
because they're spoiled. So yeah, this is the artwork of the V1. I didn't realize this had an original art.
Yeah.
The original was so much better. I'm actually more angry. So
Yeah.
here, no. Here, you don't have to go far.
That's the retrain.
This is the original art. That actually goes hard. The art looks cool. I'm not sure if the effect was any good.
No.
It's like a wall of text. I'm sure it was bad, but at least the art was good. That could have went in the disappointing category.
Yeah.
This is just a strictly uglier art and terrible effect. Like that. Like sure, it's I don't know. Like this had like a manga look to it, and the other one's just like, yeah, my edgy son drew this. Like, oh, it's so disgusting. Such a downgrade. Oh my goodness.
All right.
Classic double rares though. They look nice.
So now that we got that one out of the way, we'll get to our last ones of the bad, and I want to go ahead and
The baddest of the bad.
the baddest of the bad, in my opinion. And Jeff can probably agree with me because he played this clan.
Don't be mean.
No. You can understand because they did this clan dirty up until G. So this is a Nubatama card.
Oh no.
It is one of the first Nubatama cards, meaning that this is probably the only Vanguard you had. So you had to run this card.
Woof.
It is Stealth Dragon Voidmaster.
No.
It is a 9K Gray 3 with auto Vanguard. When this unit attacks, if the number of cards in your hand is greater than your opponent's, this unit gains power +3 until the end.
Oh, I remember this.
And then auto Vanguard Rear Guard, Counterblast 1 when this unit attack hits. If the number of cards in your hand is less than your opponent's, you may pay the cost if you do. Your opponent chooses a card from their hand and discards it.
To be fair, give me a second. What booster set was this? Booster set BT01? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's another king. He was a 9K, but he got 3K, so
If
he became an 11K or
It-
12K.
read the condition.
I know,
Yeah.
bigger, greater. I just don't guard. Take hits.
Yeah, take it.
Well, you need a counterblast for it.
This is sitting in the same wheelhouse as Mr. Invincible.
Yeah.
Become beating. Become punching bag.
Well, I don't know.
Profit.
This only needs one counterblast. Mr. Invincible
And it has
needs
to
5.
and it has to hit. And a 9K,
At best, 12K.
yeah, at best 12K.
Better than 10.
And a 5K shield.
How is 9 better than 10, Lon?
Well, this one's easier to get to. You can manipulate how many cards you
But
call
here's
out.
here's the problem, right? So at least with Mr. Invincible, you could overlook it, right? Because you have all these other Vanguards you can run. This was the only Vanguard at the time.
This was it.
All the way up until Legion.
This was it.
Are you serious?
It never got support up till Legion.
No, LB4, they did.
Okay, fair.
They did, but it was not worth it.
But they were afraid to support Nubatama because they were afraid of discard. So literally, they got nothing good up until Legion.
Yeah, it was the original control style deck, and then Link Joker popped up, and they said, you know what? Maybe discard's not that bad.
Yeah. But like, yeah, so most Nubatama players had to work with this.
Oh, I didn't even show the card. That's my bad. Give me a second.
Oh, yeah. And the artwork, honestly,
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but,
But
I'm
like,
like,
the effect is so, yeah, it's
The
kind of
effect was
atrocious.
so bad that
with the context of this is the only one they had forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. I didn't realize you stealth players had it so bad.
yeah, that's why like whenever Jeff got like dominate and stuff like that, and G was like, finally we get to play the clan because it used to not be able to.
I was so excited. I was so ready. Yeah.
But that's my worst of the bad, in my opinion, and I think Jeff can agree.
So
Yeah.
mine's no secret. Philip, you're welcome. It's Cheer Girl Adelaide. Yeah, I kind of agree with Philip. That's so ugly.
But why?
I'm gonna
you
do
gotta,
Philip
you gotta
a
represent
favor.
your cheer with your cheerleaders.
So I played.
You played Bloody Ogle.
I played Bloody Ogle. So I did technically play this clan for a minute. We didn't play this heal.
Nope.
Not if we had to. There was definitely options, and they're all really pretty. You had to go out of your way for this one. You know what's the worst part is? Unfortunately, I was going to say I wasn't going to show the picture, but I had it very handy. Is the retrain is just as bad, if not worse.
The retrain's worse.
So here's the original, and then just swipe to show the ugly one. They're both
Her.
bad. So that's the original heal, and then this was the V retrain. If you want to see more of that one, hurry, take it off the screen for Philip. There's a video where we took a break for November, way back when we were still in V format, because it was a lyrical leak season.
Yes.
So we burned a bunch of these in a fire. So if you want to watch
Philip deems the cleansing.
it was the cleansing. That was definitely the worst of the bad for me because I couldn't think of many, but that one always haunts my dreams, and I didn't even play it. And it haunts Philip worse because that's one of his clans, so he's kind of stuck with that.
And just to give some people some insight on what kind of person I am, I have 4 copies of it in a shatterproof, flame-resistant, waterproof case, sealed and ready to give to Philip's wife whenever he gets married. I will say this will forever be your competition.
Sorry, the bar was set so low. Wow, poor Philip's gonna hurt one of us when he gets back.
Yeah.
Please.
Just whoever runs the fastest.
All right,
gets to
Jeff.
avoid 'em.
What's your worst of the worst?
So my worst is actually an entire namesake.
Oh.
Uh-huh. They were all so bad that I couldn't actually pick them out. And I tried to build them. I tried my best to build this.
Uh-oh.
The Mythgard series in Genesis. Do either of you remember these from the name alone?
I remember the name, but I don't remember what they did, if that tells you
Is
anything.
that Myth of the Space Guard?
Yeah. So they were the mechanical police, more or less, inside of Genesis. They were a very, very strange archetype piece. They were separate from everything else. And their biggest thing was relying on having other Mythgard cards.
Oh, I
Uh-huh,
remember these.
uh-huh.
Oh God, you did try to build that.
I was in a dark time.
It's
whenever
in
I
a
tried
dark
that.
time.
Oh God, you want to know what's worse? Okay, it's bringing it up because it's technically in the spelling. If you break the words, there's a Mythiarch Guardian that's just brought in the TCG search. So excluding that card, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
The reason why
8 total cards to the entire archetype, and I don't think a single one of them is over double rare.
it's not.
Actually, no, wait. I don't think a single one is over rare.
It's not.
That's
Oof.
gross.
The reason why.
You know what's even weirder? GBT 11 gave you the last version of one, and it was a grade 1, and I'm sure it has nothing to do with the archetype. It has a GB still. So it's just like, hey, here's a callback name alone and nothing else.
And if you tried to build the deck, your fucking big air quotes boss monster required you to have 6 different Mythgard from your deck.
It was a limit break 4, wasn't it?
You would pull 6 different Mythgards from your deck and put them into your soul. Huge, massive soul charge. The payoff, though.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Limit break 4. This ability is only active if you have 4 or more damage. Soul Blast 6. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, stand all of your rear guards with Mythgard in its card name. Active Vanguard Circle. Counterblast 3. Search your deck for up to 6 cards with different card name with Mythgard in its card name. Put them into your soul and shuffle your deck. So it can give you the condition to Soul Blast. But, oh my God, for a very vanilla deck.
And Genesis decided with this archetype, and notice it died a long time ago. Thankfully.
I don't know. What's weird is like this set is EB12, extra booster 12. So it lasted a while in original Vanguard, but oh my God, this is gross.
Genesis said, we would like to attempt to play Nova Grapplers, please.
Man, I have a gut feeling that this video is going to be talking a lot about Genesis because I got 2 Genesis units in my other section.
Actually, the first wave was booster BT10, extra booster to BT14, and then extra booster 10 was, I guess, I don't know what came in order because I don't know the list by heart. But like, yeah, it looked like it came through like BT booster 10 through booster 14. So 4 sets in a row. It's like, here's one random double single rare. Here's one random common. And then like you randomly just get extra boosters like, on your boss monster.
Yep.
It's like, here's the payoff. It's like, this was not payoff. This was a nightmare.
Yeah. And like I tried to build the deck. I built the deck. I have copies of every single one of those cards to be able to build it.
Hey, with future knowledge, you're technically, think about it. You're thinning your deck 6 non-triggers.
Don't try this.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying. Because they have to be different names, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man, what if you damaged like 2 or 3 of the same name? It's like, good luck, buddy.
And a lot of them shared the same grade too.
Yeah, there was lots of grade 2s. I think there was only 1 grade 1.
There was 2. There was 2 grade 1s. There was 2 grade 3s, and the rest of them were grade 2s out of 8 cards. 4 of them were grade 2s.
Yeah. Oh.
They left you enough room for 4 copies of each of the grade 1s, and then 4 copies of a perfect card. That was it.
So we're going to let Jeff sulk over there a little bit with the pain of remembering that. And we're going to move on to the disappointed.
The disappointing.
I am on this list.
So I'll start off with my disappointment, and spoiler alert is still Genesis.
Yay.
And it's going to be a card that was very, I would say, hyped at the moment it was going to, we knew we were getting it, and very disappointed when we got the card. It is Dark Wolf that hunts deities, Fenrir. And this was supposed to be the card that everybody's like, all right, cool. We're getting our second grade 3s for Stride Bearers. Oh, yeah, this is the moment that Fenrir, because all the people that love Fenrir is like, cool, we're going to finally get really good Fenrir card.
You know what's really funny?
Uh-huh.
I went to look at the set.
Uh-huh.
It's Demonic Advent, which is where the Mythgard came back.
Oh, my God. Of course.
So
even more
fun
disappointment.
Fun little tie-in there.
So the effect.
And ironically, where Stealth got its OP shit.
So why was this card such a disappointment? Well, let me read the effect. It is auto counterblast 1, soul blast 3. When this unit is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Put the 1 card from among them into your hand, and put the rest of the bottom of your. Put the rest of among them into your soul. And put one of them into your soul. Put the rest of the bottom of your deck. And if you have a face-up card in your D zone with Fenrir in this card name, you countercharge 1. This is the art. The art is actually kind of cool.
No, it goes hard, but hence the category disappointing.
Oh, hold on. Let me switch my camera. There.
This is for you, Philip, and your desire to decide this deck was worth it outside of the janky combo.
So-
When I was at Worlds, Fenrir got the V category.
Yeah,
or
so-
the G,
it was the
premium.
it was only because of the one combo that they had.
But Phil, Lon, here's the problem, right? This is the card that was supposed to be like extra Shahar and all this, where it's like, okay, cool, this can
the
be your
upgraded.
Vanguard, right? And it does nothing on Vanguard.
nope.
It is just a on-place rear guard skill that's
It's Vanguard or Rearguard, but it's like
and it's very and it's very meh. It never got ran. ever.
because it doesn't have a stride skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. In a format where it was like, I really need a really better stride right now compared to everybody else in the meta.
That is rough. The stride I know was good,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is the grade 3. It's dog water. Funny enough, this is the same set where the second Shahara came in. It was Vanguard and Rearguard, but it was
Yeah.
really good on Rearguard because guard restrict.
Yeah. But of course, it had a Vanguard skill.
It like it at least did stuff. This does nothing.
Yeah.
This is you
This
get
does
this once.
virtually nothing.
It was the most disappointing support for people that were like so hyped for Fenrir because I knew Philip was so excited for this card. And then when he got it, I remember his disappointment.
I still have his deck. I got the Fenrir deck off of him because I was like, yeah, I'm building Genesis. I might as well just keep everything. It has not left the box
So yeah.
since I got it from him.
So that's my first one. Lon, what's yours?
So I remember when I first started playing Vanguard, Jeff showed me all of his peruses and stuff, and he had some cards that obviously he kept in binder for reasons I could understand. A lot of like some random doubles and triple rares. They had this like some double rares had this like weird like they'd have like a special art in the background that looked like it was like hand drawn and painted, and then it has like a special foiling. You know, the alternate double rare
Yes.
foilings. Edel Rose.
Oh, yeah.
And its effect is Counterblast 2 Vanguard. If you have a card named Werewolf Singer in your soul, this unit gets +5 and a crit until end of turn. So it went from a 9k grade 3 to a 14k grade 3 with an extra crit. And in hand, you can reveal this card to your opponent and put it on top of your deck. Search your deck for up to one card named Werewolf Singer, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, and shuffle the deck. That didn't have a cost other than just reveal and put it back. So you could make sure you're setting up early in the game for her. So like its effect wasn't the worst, but like it just wasn't enough. But like this art, that's why it's disappointing to me. The art goes so hard. It's so beautiful and just in time for spooky month. And like, no, I always loved that art. I thought it was gorgeous. You know, blue-haired anime girls, you know, Hatsune Miku fans, heat your heart out. But like, just lets you down because it just could have been better. But I mean, it's early Vanguard because like this is set 1 also. BTO 1 is what I think I'm seeing. It's just, you know, early playing ground of what they want to do with the card game. And at least it's on theme for Dark Regulars of like, oh, they're like vampires and werewolves. Ooh, lookity spook, vampire. Because like the singer was a werewolf and he was a vampire. So it's just kind of cool. Anyways, Jeff, let's hear your disappointment.
I'm going to stir the pot
Oh, let's hear it.
because this is a Pale Moon card. Love Pale Moon. It was a promo exclusive that you had to get from playing the free fights at one of the tournaments we went to. Daydream Tone Arnie. What this card was I believe it was a GB restricted card That
Does it have
said,
an image on here.
when it hit,
I have to pull it up.
yeah,
Keep
when
going.
it hit,
Mm-hmm.
you could countercharge 2.
Well.
It's an 8K base.
Oh my god. So it's an 8K base when it hits, you can
Was it an
charge
8?
it.
Is it 8 or 9? I think it's
It's
I don't-
9K.
It's
Oh,
9K.
9K.
Oh, but still, when this came out, was well past the point whenever people were like, "Oh yeah, 9K is fine." If you're playing a 9K, it either has to be very impactful when
I
it
remember this
happens.
art.
Whether it either has to be very impactful when it hits the board, attacks, or gains power. That
Didn't either.
did neither. And during the time whenever that was prevalent, there was not a lot of Pale Moon cards that were like, give other units power. You had to rely on your booster, and most of the time your boosters were ones that you were using as utility cards to shuffle stuff in and out of your soul.
Or the ones that did gain power were all an archetype. Like all the Silverthorns got
Oh,
bonus
yeah.
powers. All the Alice, the Nightmare Dolls gave power. So like you had like supplemental powers. So when you had swinging with 8 and 9Ks, grade 2s, and like small grade 1s, it's like now you're above because I get you are brethren in a cause. You get extra power. Like 2K more. Heck, making it 10K. It was still that would have been better. Just 9's not the worst. They could have made it at 8, and then
could have
that
made
would have
it
been
at 8.
absolute.
This
But
is
9
true.
is like intercept. Well, that was my turn. How about you guys?
Yep.
I really needed that counter charge.
And it was one of the only ones that you could use.
So going back around, I got my second one. And this one's a more newer card. This is from set 1 of Overdress.
Ooh.
It is the DSR of Chakravarti Dragon Nirvana. And you're thinking, oh, but why is this such a disappointing card? Well, because Nirvana is the card that held that deck back.
Yep.
And the deck itself was very underwhelming. But the art of this card for the DSR is so gorgeous.
Oh, you know what's really funny?
What's that?
You sure it's the DSR. Continue.
Yeah. But the DSR for this card, this is the first DSR we saw. So it was the very first of its kind. It was the first time we see one of these. And the art, which is funny because they changed the artwork after this. They changed it during the manga arts after this.
Yeah,
so this is
set
the
4.
first one, the only one that did it like this. Oh, Jesus Christ, where'd it go? But yeah, it looks like this.
It's beautiful.
And it actually shows it more looking like a phoenix than a dragon, and it's beautiful.
It kind of goes hard. I remember because I think it was
Connor.
Connor when we pulled it. He was like, "Ooh, ooga booga." Or
Yeah.
did we even pull it? I think we pulled it.
I can't remember if we did or not.
If we didn't, he definitely ordered it.
He definitely got them.
Eat your heart out. It's not even $10 now.
I know. That tells you how bad this card was.
To be fair, when they redid it in set 7. Oh wait, no, that's the
DSR.
well, no,
is $10.
The DSR, the newer one was the newer retrained.
Yeah, the
Nirvana.
the one that works with crossover dress.
That one.
Yes.
And that art actually goes hard too.
Yeah. But the Quace Stack card was good.
Yeah, it still is. One would argue.
Yes. But the OG Nirvana was
It held itself back.
very disappointing.
That came with new design space and just pushing around. see what works.
Because it forced them to make the support work around the Vanguard because they didn't want to change the Vanguard for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So all the support was like, how do we make this work?
It's like we just started into this brand new set and all this. They did not do the right choice. They did not choose right.
Yeah. Lon, what you got?
Well, this is the last.
The second
this is,
last.
we're in disappointing. Okay, so staying in the same vein of Dark Irregulars.
Oh.
I never built the archetype until later in life.
Oh.
Built Ammon.
Oh.
Anyone seen Ammon? Ammon looks hard,
Mm-hmm.
plays hard. The card actually functions well for
Yeah.
especially its time and age.
Oh yeah.
But then they had these cool little things called reverse.
Oh yeah.
And don't get me wrong, this reverse looks nice. It's like Wendigo looking. Like it's like, oh, that's what a Wendigo looks like when it's a demon. And it's like the art goes so hard. But the effect is here. I'll let you show the camera first, and I gotta read the effect. I gotta look it up. Here, actually bring it closer to me real quick. There. That's probably a clearer image. Like you can see the art better. It's not as low quality, but that's in Moon Runes, so you can't read it. But like the art, I just remember I'm like wanting to build this, but Amon regular was so expensive, and this one was so cheap you could find it like in a shoebox. And then they retrained them in V, and they looked so nice. But like by that point in V, I wasn't playing V anymore.
I remember whenever the Legion came out, and people were like, "Don't you want to play the reverse in the Legion?" And everybody's like, "Don't ever do that.
Never do that." Yeah, it's a $2 card. Because it came out in what? Set 12, Binding Force of Black Rings. So it has a wall of text.
Oh, yeah.
Vanguard Circle, Limit Break 4. Choose one of your Dark Irregular rear guards and lock it. Because, you know, all their reverses would lock their stuff to show they're part of that thing. This unit gets plus 1,000 power for each Dark Irregular in your soul until end of turn. If the number of Dark Irregulars in your soul is 6 or more, this unit gets critical +1 until end of turn. This ability cannot be used for the rest of the turn, so you can't stack it. If you can stack it, it'd be good. The locked card is turned face up, you know, in the face, blah, blah, blah. Continuous Vanguard Circle. If you have a card named Demon Marquis Amon in your soul, this unit gets +2 continuous. So it would go from a 11K to a 13K. Honestly, it wasn't that bad, but just OG Amon was just so much better.
You know,
It's like
the funniest part about that card is like you saw the text box is like almost half the card, right?
Yeah, it blocks out the good part of the card, which is the art.
And then on top of that, like that's a lot of text for a lot of
Nothing.
Nothing is doing.
Oh yeah, it also had the Lord effect.
Oh God, the Lord.
Yeah,
It can only play.
Yeah, it
Same
cannot.
plan.
This if you have a unit without the same clan as this unit, it cannot attack. Because technically, in the reverse deck, you can run reverse cards.
Yes.
Outside of Link Joker. But like for context, like OG Amon was just so much better for viewers at home that didn't play OG Vanguard. During your turn, this unit gets plus 1,000 for each card in your soul. And then counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards, put it in your soul. Your opponent chooses one of his or her rear guards and retires it. So I had retire, and I had way to full soul charge on Vanguard. The other one doesn't.
Yeah.
Once you get there, you kind of cap yourself unless you have more ways to soul charge. That's all it did. It just got big. It would keep getting bigger. It didn't need extra crit because it just gets so tall. You know, it'd just be cool. And there's a reason why this card is like $15 to this day, and the other one's $2.
Yes.
I think the numbers speak for themselves. This art goes so much harder. Actually, no. They both rock. They both go cool in their own ways. They're very different. But that wall of text just kills the other art so much. And that's why, in my eyes, it is disappointing.
Right.
They did fix it when they went in V and retrained them because they made them all SP textless box, and they look gorgeous. Amon's kind of crystal crossed like a dead statue, and I'm just like, where were you all my life?
All right, Jeff, what you got?
We're going to stick with the reverse theme.
Oh, hey.
This one's going to be real controversial because it was one of the top played Angel Feather cards during this set.
I know what you're talking about.
Cleanup Celestial Rawmill Reverse.
OG or V?
OG.
Okay.
OG. And the reason why I say that is because Angel Feather, outside of Thousand Ray and Million Ray, did not have ways of getting power. Just didn't. Not really. This one, Limit Break 4, choose 2 of your rear guards with Celestial in their card name and lock them. So not only are you losing 2 rear guards, but you're also having to have decks that are namesake only. Choose up to 3 of your front row Celestial rear guards, and they gain plus 5k until end of turn. And if you have a face-up copy of this card, the reverse, in your damage zone, choose one of your opponent's cards in your damage zone. They put it into their drop zone, and then your opponent chooses one of their rear guards and puts it into their damage zone.
Mm.
The reason why I say this is bad is because unless you were specifically rocking the Million Ray or 1,000 Ray in the front row,
Mm-hmm.
you lost the ability to boost with the 1,000 Rays, or you lost an entire column.
Mm.
So you either lost an entire attack or you lost power across the board.
Just for a weird form of retire,
Mm-hmm.
which you also have to have a copy of her in your damage.
And it's the power
which
doesn't.
in Angel Feather wasn't impossible to do. It was much more likely than any other nation
See,
to do or
if-
clan. But
See
that's
if it
still a
gained
hoop.
if it gained like
Extra
plus
crit.
10.
or
Yeah.
a crit, like even if it got a crit.
No. If it gained plus 10 power, because then at least it made up for the power you lost
Lost.
from your boosters.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Because the setup was you would lock the 2 rear guard boosters, you would have your Vanguard column open, and then 2 Million Ray Pegasus in the front row. That was the aim at the end of it. But there again, Million Ray and 1,000 Ray, they lack a specific thing that's on this card. Choose up to 2 rear guards with Celestial
Mm.
in its card name.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. No lie.
Yeah, the other Celestial cards, they didn't get any power hardly. They had the grade 1 that became an 11K beater, and they had the grade 2 that became a 12K beater.
Mm.
That was the most power you got from that.
So it was just, it had cool design, but it was just supporting an archetype that was just subpar.
Mm-hmm.
So like it could have went harder if it wasn't so restrictive.
Mm-hmm. And just like most of the other Limit Break reverse units in this, if you have a card named Prophecy Celestial Romuald, the original, in the soul, it becomes a 13K base.
I know why this card sucks, and I know why the reverse in general suck. Because this is at the time that Bushido Road decided to get rid of the R&D team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Because during Chaos Breaker, somebody in the testing team leaked Chaos Breaker before it was supposed to come out, so they got rid of the R&D team, and they just started making cards without testing them. And this is what you get.
For better or worse.
Then this is what kind of card you get when you look at these past 2 cards, and you're like, oh, these cards kind of really just suck.
That is insight I didn't know about.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
The more you know.
They did bring them back in I
V.
think-
Oh yeah, V got
Yeah.
a whole reverse sweep, and some cards are like they never had reverse.
Oh no, I mean like they brought back the R&D team at some
Oh.
point. I forgot when it was. I think it was in a late G or sometime in V.
It was set 13 in G.
Yeah, that's when they finally brought it back.
God, you know what? Like, speaking of reverse cards, like the Silverthorn Lukier reverse, I'm scrolling. That card art goes so fucking hard. But I think the problem is it was like it's meh in an already good archetype of Silverthorns. It was I think it was like a finisher, but otherwise it's just like it's you're better off with what the other 2, because it already had 2 grade 3s. So adding a 3rd grade 3, it was really hard.
I'm a lock myself out of more resources to cycle.
Correct, because like you have to lock rear guards, and the whole deck's like, no, I need those back in the soul. It's so like, yeah, it's just it's unfortunately because you're trying to, because it's lore based versus other things, so you're kind of defeating your mechanic for the sake of lore. Like again, goes super hard, but just is like could have been better.
All right, so we're going right into my last one real quick because we're getting creeping really close into like the 130-minute mark.
Oh jeez, it's a long episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long episode.
Hey, so this is to make up for the lost time.
Exactly. So my last one is another card that was the cover of a booster box. And it was for a very new Genesis deck that came out in V that was very hyped over. It was for Astral Poets because we got the Astral Poet trial deck. And this was the first Vanguard that we get in the main booster. So we're like, okay, cool. Well, the other one just spit out force markers. So what's the other Vanguard going to do besides just spitting out force markers? We're like, all right, cool. This is going to be really hype. It's
Super
gonna be so
hype.
cool. So the card is Quaking Heavenly Dragon, Astrios Dragon. And by the way, the card looks fucking amazing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The card art is so hard. And I was so happy because, dude, this looks amazing. This is what made me pick up Genesis. Like, this card alone.
Astraeos Dragon is what you
Yes.
said? Okay.
And its abilities were Counterblast 1, put a Force 1 marker on your Vanguard. if you have 5 or more force, you get to make the astral plane if you have the markers or whatever, like all the astral
If
poets
your
do.
astral plane has a unit, or am I reading the wrong one?
Yeah, if your astral plane has a unit, you can soul blast 1, draw 1.
That's it.
That's it. For a cover card of a booster.
Really hyped. And also, this was the protagonist deck, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
that was the protagonist deck. Granted, they made up for it. We got some really cool astral poets down the road, but like,
It got better, but it started on a really
because
bad
usually,
note.
usually when you see a dragon as a boss, you're like, oh, this is gonna be the shit right here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just such letdown, dude. Like, really, just a soul blast draw,
Yep.
and you can only do it if you even have Valkyrion on your on your circle.
Yep.
So if you don't even have them there and you just whiff, you just don't even draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's rough.
that's rough. That's my last one.
So, here's my last one.
Yeah.
I think some people know this one.
Oh.
It's that goddamn Glanzel Rotovisor. Jesus Christ. Talk about the hardest art that ever arted.
The hardest art that ever arted.
Here, you get a sample.
Oh my god.
Here's another sample. Here's the full frame rare.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, the card art is hard.
Read that card.
Okay. Continuous during your turn. If your order zone has 3 or more arenas, all your front row units gain +5. Just +5.
It's pretty good actually. It's
I mean,
not that
that's
bad.
fair.
It's like
Yeah,
half
yeah.
a Persona ride.
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah,
if you
yeah.
Persona ride. Now you're at 15.
I mean, true.
Yeah.
Auto Vanguard once per turn.
There it is.
At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, counterblast 2, draw a card, choose the same number of rear guards as the number of arenas in your order zone, stand them. If you choose 3 or more rear guards, all of the chosen rear guards gain +5. Oh, there's the other half. It gives the +10 there without the persona right there. It is. That's garbage.
It's because Counterblast 2, it got a promo.
It got a double or a triple rare, I think.
It's getting another grade 3 because it's in. Was it in this set?
It's in set 5.
Set 5 that makes the Counterblast 1 less.
Mhm.
The problem is the new grade 3 triple rare also needs a Counterblast to do its ability. So you're still Counterblasting 2. The problem with this deck, and I've played it on the channel several times, and I think it's lost every time. Here, you can show these.
So the
disappointing
gimmick
order.
the gimmick of the deck is that the orders, when you attack, you can rest them to give skills to your units.
No, that's not it.
Oh.
No, the arenas, yes.
The arenas.
The arenas, you rest them when your unit attacks. It doesn't have to be a battler or a rotovisor unit. Just if it attacks, you can give it like usually the skill is because there's 2 arenas. The second one comes out with the other triple rare. So you had 4 arenas. They're all the same card. That's it. You had to get at least 3 into your order zone. Imagine if you damage one. They don't cost anything to play, which is like silver lining. So you can rest them to either make it the unit that's attacking have an on hit of either counter charge or energy charge too. So like it was actually okay, and it gave you some on hit pressure. The problem is you needed the power to get the hit really, and if you play a deck that says you don't hit, you don't hit, you don't hit, you don't hit, you don't do anything because the deck is so expensive on the resources that like yeah you draw a card, but like I'd rather have had a triple drive honestly.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to draw cards that way, not by well man, cool over trigger. I'll just keep that in his hand and disappointed the rest of my life. And the only good thing they did with that card, you want to know what it was? They made it a playmat at the pre-release.
Oh yeah.
So like you could have the good art without having to play the card. That's the best thing that ever happened with this card, and this is why Rotovisor is the most disappointing card on my list. I love it. I know there's stands for it because people love like battler like units. But man, like the art, 100, like the art's a 10 out of 10, but the effect is like a 3.5 out of 10. Like it could have been so much better, and it doesn't matter how many promos you give it and all that jazz. It's just more. It's like putting sprinkles on a piece of poop.
Yeah.
It does. It's still shit. You put cinnamon and sugar and sprinkles on a pile of shit. It still tastes like a pile of shit. I'm sorry.
All right, Jeff, what you got?
Another promo.
Oh God.
And it was a Bushiroad, like the monthly, like comic book.
Kind of like a Shonen Jump equivalent.
Yes. It was specific. It was a promo, and then it came out in the actual literature piece. Genesis, Onmyo Regalia. This is why it hurts. Regalia is my favorite. Nega Kyopo GCC.
Man, that's a name.
And the art is beautiful. Like, look at this. The art
Oh, I remember that.
is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Before you take the phone, let me just read the effects.
Well, actually, you probably just hold it up. I almost feel silly.
Well, he's got to read it. It's a wall text.
It is a brick. So 11K, cool, solid. Act Vanguard, Soul Blast 6, easy to do in Genesis. This unit gains +10 and a crit until the end of turn. And if the number of cards in your soul is 2 or less, put the top card of your deck into your damage zone.
Excuse you?
That's the first effect. That is the voluntary effect. To gain the +10 and a crit, you have to overcharge, which, albeit, Genesis does that very easily. But you have to count your soul and make sure that you have exactly the minimum 9 in your soul on your grade 3 turn. Okay. Auto Counterblast 1. When this unit is placed on rear guard, rear guard effect, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose 3 cards with Regalia in their card name from your drop zone, put them into your soul. Seems pretty useful. There's a grade 2 that does the same thing, by the way, and a grade 1, both with Regalia name. Then, if the number of cards in your soul is 10 or more, put the top card of your deck into your damage zone.
What?
9 is the most you can have and the least you can have to where you do not take damage before activating the auto skill.
So it was you had this tightrope of effects, and it was the Bushiroad Spring Fest promo 2015. So yeah, hard card to get, and then like congratulations. Here's a -$2 bill. This is worthless.
Less than worthless.
No, that art goes hard. Yeah, show that off. That's gorgeous, but man, it's so sad. It's so poo-poo.
I was like, you mean I get a promo exclusive boss card?
Let's go gambling.
For
Oh, dang it.
my favorite deck, and it's garbage.
Well, no wonder they gave it away at Springs Fest.
So, before we wrap it up, I do have an honorable mention.
Yeah,
to
if y'all
put.
have any honorable mentions in any categories,
So,
now's the time.
for the ugly or the disappointed section, I have a card that me and Law know very close to our hearts because it's a card that we have traded back and forth before. It is a grand blue card called Deathseeker Thanatos.
Ugh.
The art of this card is so fucking metal looking. It looks like something like the pyramid head from fucking Silent Hill meets the Grim Reaper.
It's kind of goofy because of the Google. Yeah, here you go. Show that. It's got these googly eyes. I love him.
So great.
It's one of the first card arts that got me into Vanguard, and I don't regret seeing it.
But the effect is so bad because it's on
Again.
on an attack hits, counterblast 1, choose a card from your dropping call to your yard.
Again, set 6. So this is a bit further on. It is a 10K grade 3, but
At that point, we were still rocking with them, so we're okay with that.
slow creep.
The only merit to that card was the fact that at the time you had Spirit Exceed and you could jump right into grade 3 while your opponent's at grade 1 and you swing this into a grade 1.
So it being 10K wasn't a detriment. It was still good.
But I don't think it was enough to make the list, but I do want to mention it because it is a card that's been floating around our group.
It's special in our
special in
hearts.
our hearts.
That's fair.
I also have
An honorable.
on the opposite end of the spectrum. I have an honorable good to mention.
Oh,
I love the way some of the artists do the artwork, like in Great Nature. They make the proportions real cute, and they do a really good job with it.
No uncanny valleys.
I think I know which card you're going to mention.
No. It's not in Great Nature.
Oh.
It's in Nova Grappler.
Ooh.
Cat Butler.
Oh, fuck you.
To be fair, he's not wrong.
That
The Cat Battler wasn't designed for the deck that abused it
no,
because it came out in set one.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, sorry, extra
Oh.
booster
Extra
one.
booster
Extra
one.
booster one.
I got one more I want to throw away at people, and I'm done. It is a Great Nature card. Because this is a card I thought you was going to mention, but you didn't, so I'm going to bring it up. The Great Nature V boss that came out at the same time Astropost did. Isabel.
No.
Such a beautiful art card. Such a shit mechanic.
So bad.
It
The-
was what was it, the teaching one or the?
It's the first.
Let me see it.
Jeff would know the full name of it.
It's this card.
Yep.
I'm just trying to remember the effect.
Its effect was you milled cards, and depending on what you milled, you gained effects.
on its card type. It was the normal or trigger unit.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You either got extra power or you got to return it from the
Rear
deck
guard.
into the drop zone.
Mm.
You
From-
got to
you-
return it to the hand.
yeah.
If it was a trigger unit.
But the mechanic of just blindly milling cards and hoping on what you get was so bad. They even had to go out of their way to let you stack the deck just to
Mhm.
make the deck good.
Mm-hmm. It was a think deck. Like you had to think about it, or you just pull the lever and let it spin.
But the art was so good.
Yeah,
All
like-
of them were.
Yeah, it was very here you go.
So good.
So good, but so bad. Like the colors are really vibrant. I'm not like the biggest into the anthropomorphic animals. Great Nature never really got my jive, but the colors, like
the-
artistically, just and the foiling always captured it super well.
And the Essica rares with the hot stamps on them, they did it good. But they did it dirty. They did it so dirty.
Anything you want to mention, Lon, before we wrap it up? Or?
No, my examples early on were kind of my honorable mentions, like just those big flops, like two left hands, really. Like that's just like I feel bad for the players on that. None really come to mind. You get like a janky promo every once in a while. It's like
Yeah.
you ugly, but I guess I gotta play you. But like some of them are charming. Sometimes it just works out. Like there's that we're not shitting on anyone if you love these cards.
No.
This is totally our own perspective. This
Yes.
is our own opinions on these. We just happen to agree on a lot of these.
Mhm.
We have some pet cards that we love to death, like we mentioned. And we have cards we love to hate, like we also mentioned. But, whatever your flavor is, you get to play it. Don't let anyone ever change your mind. And, in the comments, shoot us like one of each. You're good. Give us one of your goods, one of your bads, one of your disappointings. And just let us know how you feel about the card game. Maybe we'll discover something we weren't thinking of. Been like, we can agree with you. Like, oh, yeah, that was kind of bad. And like some of these, if they're like vanillas, you got to explain it to us. Because like other than I had another example. It was Babbed. This is my honorable mention of good.
Oh. I think. Oh.
Drag Wizard Babbed
Oh.
from specifically VB10, Phantom Dragon Aeon.
Oh
It's a
my
common,
God.
and you'll immediately know the reason why.
Yeah.
I remember we were trying to collect these when that we opened the case. She's the card's not good. It's a vanilla draw trigger, but there's something about her. She's got these huge
I can't
drag
put
wizard hands.
I can't put my hand on it, but
She's just
there's
this
something there.
Huge tracts of lands in these. Just this.
Why did you zoom in on the card? You don't need to.
It's not that obvious. And I think I guess what would make this disappointing, it was only a common, and it wasn't like an effect. Like
this
it
is
wasn't.
a common.
Yeah,
It wasn't
no
an effects
effect.
draw because this is back when in V when draws did
A
something.
common vanilla draw.
It could have been better, but here we are.
Wasted
Such
artwork.
promise.
But
Yeah, that's
that's it. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. We're gonna try to record another one of these very soon. Hopefully, the plan is to record while we're in Duluth.
record in Duluth. Okay, yeah.
We got some friends from our locals that we can drag on as guests while we're with us.
To our detriment.
To our detriment. So stick forward to that coming up soon. If we are going to be at Duluth, for those of you who are listening and watching that want to meet us and say hi, maybe, hang out for a bit, we'll be there.
We will sign
Well,
any
Jeff
of the
won't-
cards we mentioned. Jeff will not be
Jeff
there.
will not be
'cause-
there,
No.
but me and Lon will both be there.
Yeah, if you have any cards for us to sign that we mentioned in the good, the bad, and the disappointing,
exactly.
let us know. We'll sign the sleeves for sure. I don't know about like if it's the bad ones. Well, I'll sign straight on the card with like a Sharpie pen.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to pierce it. But like if it's the goods, I'll sign the sleeve it's on. I don't want to damage the gorgeous art. I don't want to degrade its value.
Yeah.
But unless it's like the Gravidia normal triple rare, those things go for quarters. So
Yeah.
I'll gladly replace yours if you let me sign it. I'll give you. I have copies of my binder.
And if you have any cheerleader Adelaides, don't give them to them because they will disappear.
We'll throw it away for you. How about that?
Hide your Adelaides, hide your kids.
I hope you don't have Adelaides. Actually, I'm just hoping you don't find any. Curse upon your household if you do. But yeah,
This has been Alex,
I've been Lon.
And this is Jeff again.
and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye bye.
Ciao.
Bye.